guys, and welcome back to Friday's video here at Bareham Engines. So great response from the last video regarding the sit down and going through the comments and my response there. I'll be honest with you, when I was editing it, I was giggling to myself. So yeah, just goes to show that I suppose everyone has these trollers, and but it's quite nice to just go through the comments, even the non-trollers, just to go through, answer a few questions and what have you. But yeah, you guys seem to like it, so probably, you know, a couple of times a month, maybe something like that. We'll go through the comments of a video and review them. So what have we got going on at the minute, guys? I am just going through these two Cosworths. So we've got this one over here, which is going in a Focus 4-wheel drive Cosworth, apparently. It's a 205 block, got to bore that to 1 mil, face the block. We've got the crank assembly in there. We've checked the crank, everything's okay. John's measured that, so we've got to, I think we've got to face the flywheel and just balance the crank assembly, supply some 1 mil pistons, hone to size, and supply the bearings, etc. So yeah, a few bits to do on that one, guys, because that's going in the Focus. The one that was on here is now on the boring bar over there. So that's a 205 block again. We're boring that to 0.5 because that was a standard block, believe it or not. Everything's really good with that. Just got to face it and hone it. And we've got 3 pistons. So when I say we've got 3 pistons, these 3 pistons here are out of something else, and the customer wants to use this because he's building it himself. And the reason is it's got pockets in. They measure perfect. It's got the pockets in, and it's also been modified for the correct compression ratio on the top. So he's got a set of 0.5 pistons, new ones. So what I've done is took one out of there and I've copied the top. So if you have a look here, I've got a selection of various radius tools. So I've replicated the top there. These pistons he'd bought from PJ Motorsport with the cutouts in anyway. So I suspect these are probably my cutouts that I did once upon a time for PJ. So all I've done, guys, is just mod the top. Got the CCs the same as that, and then I have persisted in balancing them all. So I've weighed each piston bare with no rings, no circlips, no gudgeon pins, etc. All the gudgeon pins, including the new one, all weigh the same, which is great. I've got 3 sets of new 0.5 rings coming for these pistons. The ring lands are absolutely perfect. We're just going to clean those up. We've balanced those now. You can see that I've took some weight out the bottom. This one, these were all within about 3 grams, which is to be expected because we obviously modded the crowns on those. But this one here was about 7 grams heavier. So you can see I've took a little bit more weight out the base there, as I have of that one. But now they weigh all exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is wait till the other rings turn up, and then I'm just going to weigh them with the rings as an assembly. I may have to take a little bit more out of the base of 1 or 2 of those, but that is the pistons done for that, guys. The crank down here is an old Turbo Sport crank. Those guys produce some really, really good stuff. If you're in the Cosy world, you almost certainly have heard of them. And you can see that it's been previously knife edge, so it's a really good job. What we're going to do with that, we've got no flywheel or clutch at the moment with this, or front pulley, but I am going to just stick this up and check the balance of it and just balance the crank as a single unit. Once that is done, he's got a box of spares here which has got a set of spare rods somewhere. I'm going to use those rods, make sure the size and everything's okay. I've got bearings on the way. John's measured this with 0.5 on the big ends and 0.25 on the mains already, but it measures perfect. As you can see, it's been ground in the past by them and never been used since. So I'm going to use those rods, do a bit of a dummy build, as I am of this one, because this one's got a decent set of rods with it, and then get my piston jut outs from the block. Once I've faced the block, get that right, then we're going to sort of disassemble them, put them all back in the boxes and send them back to the customer, and he is going to build them. So that's where I am with the Cosworths at the minute, guys. And once I have done that, I'm probably going to be moving on to the normally aspirated one for Pete. So yeah, really looking forward to getting involved in that one. Right, guys, so the first Cosworth here, I've just given it a 3 thou lick over, and you can see the majority of it is cleaned, except for this area here. It's got a bit of an unusual mark that looks like it's been blowing a gasket for quite some time. So I'm going to take another 3 thou off that, see how it looks. But it does look, to clean that up, looks like I'm going to end up having to mod the crowns on this block. Right, so this is John's baby now on the centre bay. It's the TVR V8. So as you can see, guys, we've bored that, faced both sides of the block, and Johnny's going to be starting to build this now. So we're going to unbox the crank assembly, etc., that's been balanced by CTM, and persist in starting to build this one. We've got the extra bits here, which obviously we've got to clean up. So I think John is going to build the short motor. Not sure about fitting the heads yet, but yeah, lovely little engine, this TVR and the Rover. Absolutely beautiful design. We love building them. Right then, guys, Friday at last. I've got that Friday feeling. So this week, because I haven't been very well, a little bit under the weather, as is everyone else, especially in here, I've been in a bit of a funny mood. As you can tell by the last video, I've just fancied a little bit of a banter. That was the whole reason for going through the comments, really, on the previous video to that. And going through some of the comments of the last video, it seems like a lot of people like that, so probably going to be doing that more often, guys. Because I'm in the mood I'm really, it's one of those afternoons now where I want to sit down here and have a bit of a rant about a warranty issue. Now, I know quite a lot of people don't like the warranty side of it. They think it's bad, they think it could be bad for business, but at the end of the day, guys, from the very beginning, that's what our channel's been about, isn't it? I tell it as it is. I tell the truth. I go on about the warranties. I don't have to. I could make ourselves look a lot better than I do, but that's not the truth. That's not real life to me. But to be honest with you, I don't know whether it's to do with I think it could be to do with a couple of things. One, because people know that if there is a warranty issue, it's going to be on this video or this channel, they don't tend to moan about it. Or it's just a coincidence that we don't get so many warranty issues. As I said to you, a lot of the warranty issues, if you actually watch the videos, they're not even down to us at the end of the day. If they are, we'll tell you, but very rarely they are. They're usually down to something else external, but I'm just showing you the process. I know I've said this 100 times before, but we haven't actually had any moaning or anything lately, so there's nothing really to go on about. If there was, I would make a meal of it in this video, because that's the mood I'm in this week. But there actually isn't, guys. So I don't know whether it's just a coincidence that we just aren't getting any warranties. You know, everything we do, touch wood, fingers crossed, everything we do is absolutely fine at the minute and no issues whatsoever. Or people are just scared to moan about it because they know there's going to be a video on it. Don't know, but we haven't got anything. So what can I go on about? I think basically the only thing I can go on about today, guys, and have a little whinge about is the PPE. Now, going off the comments from the last video, a lot of you, as I say, seem to have enjoyed that, me going through the comments or commenting on the comments. They found it very funny. Although, reading some from that video, some of the comments, there are people that take PPE and health and safety very, very seriously. Quite rightly so, I know, but as I've said to you before, we've spent many years, as probably a lot, if they're honest, probably a lot of engineering firms get into sort of bad habits, get into taking the easy way out. I know it's not right, and potentially if there was an accident, you know, especially now we've got other employees and apprentices and stuff like that, we should be taking it more serious, and we are trying, guys. Isaac, obviously, whenever he operates machinery, uses his ear protection, eye protection. He's got steel toe cap trainers, which look pretty trick actually. They look like Nike Air Max, but steel toe caps. The only reason I haven't worn them lately, I have just ordered another pair, is because actually behind the scenes I've had 3 pairs, and because I had a knee operation in January, since then my knee's pretty bad, and I have to be, I find that wearing these trainers keeps me comfortable all day. Otherwise, because I'm up and down off the desk and around the workshop, the work boots I've had up until now, my knee just goes, and I spend about another 3 days hobbling around trying to get over it. So that's the only reason I have it at the minute. I know there's no excuse, shouldn't even come in here without steel toe caps, guys, but as I say, there is quite a lot of people that are very fanatical about it. One being a gentleman called Alan Richardson. Now, Alan Richardson, he's another one, which I'm not going to go on about today. Maybe when I do another video on the comments, he's another one that comments on people's comments. Very much into PPE and health and safety is Alan. I'd imagine going round, if you were to go round Alan's house, PPE wise and health and safety, you'd be the safest house you could go in. Not sure about besides the PPE, but I'm sure as far as health and safety goes, it would be the safest house you could go in. He'd probably have the yellow tape everywhere, steel toe caps on at the door, eyewear for eating your dinner and all the rest of it. Because obviously the comments that he puts, he's very, very into it. But quite rightly so, Alan. I'm not going to disagree with you. We should be making more effort with the PPE and the health and safety. We should try and eliminate trip hazards, get everything off the floor, all the rest of it. But in a realistic world, it's not as easy as that. So yes, just for all the health and safety police there in the comments, on the email and all the rest of it, and anyone else that's watching who disagrees with the way we work, we're going to do our best. We're going to prioritise health and safety from now on, and we're going to make a real effort, okay guys? So look out. We'll have another sort of review in about a month's time to see how we're getting on. But that's all I've got to moan about today, guys. So John has laid out the bits here. He's unpackaged the box there with all the crank etc in there. So what have we got? We've got the com rods here, which we sized and balanced the rods. Then what we do is we send off a rod and a piston assembly, complete with bearings. Send that off with the crank assembly and CTM balance that for us. We've got the 2-cylinder heads here, which we've ported. Nice little porting job on. You see all the valves and seats. Heads are skimmed, looks absolutely lovely. This is a few bits to be cleaned up, but this is an assembly job. John's little baby there. So over here, guys, I'm just boring the second Cosworth. So this is the Cosy I'm boring to 1 mil. Just doing the last bore there. And we've got the knife edge crank over here on the balancer. Now, so what they do when they knife edge these, this is a similar job to what I do. So all you do is you just go down with the lathe on these webs. You don't take anything off the inside, we just take some on the outside. So that's exactly how I do them. But if we just spin this up and then do the right hand side first, if we have a look up there, you can see at 120 degrees, we're about 45 out, guys. So yeah, it's a fair bit out that. So if we just stop this, put the brake on, go to 120, which is there, and we are out on this plane. So what that means really is it means that sort of an uneven amount of weight has been took off from there to here. So it's just knocking that out a bit. Fortunately, 45 on this outside damn it here is not a great deal. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go that with the grinder and just take off, follow the same plane as the knife edging, and then we'll go over to the other side. Usually with 45, because it's a fair amount, we may have to go and do the other side after, then come back to this. But yeah, just goes to show how much out it is really, even if you do it by the calculations. It's a big old mass of material, this, and it's obviously a standard, it's just a rough old casting. So yeah, but let's get the grinder out. So that's that crank balance now. You can see there that the only bit of material we've really had to take off is a bit here and a bit over here. So that is just probably a little bit of unevenness in the casting, but that is perfectly balanced now. I'm just going to give it one last clean and that is ready to dummy build. Well, there we go for another video, guys. Until Monday, have a fantastic weekend and we will see you then. You take care. Cheers, guys.